Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, March 27, 2023. Government is moving ahead with infrastructure development of $200 million on the Pedro Plains Irrigation Scheme. The investment is designated as a national strategic project. It will channel water to hundreds of farmers in the communities of Flagaman, Greenfield, Southfield, and Top Hill in St. Elizabeth. In his contribution to the budget debate recently, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the project would be financed through a combination of government resources, grants, and loan funding from the French government.
We undertook a feasibility study to take water from the Black River and use it to irrigate the plains of St. Elizabeth. Not only is the project feasible, but the team of French engineers have already designed the system and costed its implementation.
Mr. Holness pointed out that the plains of St. Elizabeth were among the most fertile in the country, and its farmers, despite not having irrigation, have proven to be the best in the world.
For decades, farmers have been clamoring for these irrigation systems, and we are getting it done.
The Prime Minister told the House that investment in the Essex Valley Irrigation Scheme had been the largest spend on irrigation in the country's history. He said billions of dollars had been pumped into the project, which serves parts of St. Elizabeth, Manchester, and the Southern Plains Irrigation Scheme, which will provide water to farmers in parts of Clarendon and St. Catherine. Meanwhile, the Cabinet has approved $100 million to conduct a cadastral survey of lands for the Pedro Plains Irrigation Scheme. The survey will provide a map of the entire area, which will identify different boundaries and land ownership. The announcement was made by Minister without Portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, Floyd Green, at a function in St. Elizabeth last week. He was representing Minister with Responsibility for Water, Senator Matthew Samuda. Minister Green says the irrigation scheme will put about 4,000 hectares under irrigation supply.
Less than 10% of the arable land, the land that is good for farming, has irrigation supply. But do you know which parish in Jamaica produces the most agricultural items? St. Elizabeth produces the most agricultural items in the entire Jamaica. What we want to do is to change the water dynamic in St. Elizabeth. Because if you have great farmers who are doing well without water, imagine how well they will do when we provide them with irrigation water.
Minister Green adds that government has earmarked $2.5 billion to execute 21 projects to bring potable water to communities across Jamaica. 4 of the projects are in St. Elizabeth and include Black River to Treasure Beach, Hounslow, Magotty to Newton water supply improvements, and the Santa Cruz Bypass Pipeline project.
So what is happening is that the government is putting significant resources to try and bring water to our people. Water in your homes and water to the farms.
Approximately 100 unattached youth between the ages of 17 and 29 years are to benefit from skills training through the National Service Corps Residential Camp. The individuals are from communities that are under Zones of Special Operations, ZOSOs. The program was launched on Friday by Prime Minister Andrew Holness and is being facilitated through the Heart NSDA Trust. It is a component of the government's HOPE program and is expected to benefit 206 young persons. Mr. Holness says the aim is to change the mindset and outlook of participants to being more productive.
In 6 weeks, we're not going to transform you into a totally different person. But in 6 weeks, we can arrange programs such that you are, as a person, able to confront and start to grapple with the challenges that you face in your life personally, the challenges in your community, the challenges with your family, and to get you into a mode of thinking about what your future could be. And that's the intent of the program.
Prime Minister Holness says the camp is a powerful tool that will allow participants to regulate their behavior. Managing Director of Heart, Dr. Tanisha Ingleton, outlines the curriculum.
The comprehensive curriculum covers construction, which includes tiling and drywall plastering, food and beverage, which includes bartending and banquet server, allied health, which includes home care and nail care, business and beauty therapy. In addition, our participants will improve their numeracy and literacy through the high school diplomacy equivalency intervention.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is reassuring that contingency plans are in place should the country encounter an earthquake. Acting Assistant Commissioner in charge of the Operations Branch, Senior Superintendent Michael Bailey, outlined steps that would be taken. He was speaking at a recent JIS think tank.
In the initial phase, the JCF would establish a command post at the Police Emergency Communication Center, gather information as to what transpired or what occurred, and to provide that information to ODPEM.
SSP Bailey says the police would also support the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, with a senior officer to manage the Emergency Operations Center.
Based on our geography in respect to our stations right across the island, we would gather information as to the different areas that are affected and the type of response that is required. And that information would be provided to the Police High Command and all the emergency departments that would need to respond to the emergency.
And finally, donors of scholarships to Jamaican students have been lauded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for their continued support. They include members of the Jamaican diaspora, private sector partners, and Friends of Jamaica. Portfolio Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith expressed her gratitude at the recent symbolic handing over ceremony to the Jamaica 60 scholarship awardees. 16 scholarships were awarded. Minister Johnson-Smith says the awards were needs-based, with students receiving partial or full scholarships.
Selections were made based on feedback received from various institutions, with over 40 individuals being considered in this, the very first year of awards. The collaborative approach that characterized this initiative really reflects the position of the Government of Jamaica on diaspora engagement.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.